Hey, welcome back. This is round 2 of the NBDRA Hare Scramble series, and if you noticed, I'm on a different bike because my other bike isn't running well, or isn't running at all. I think it was a starter issue, but some good advice from Ray. Turns out when I load tested the battery to the best I could and then substituted another battery, fired right up, so the XC's back in business. Anyway, we're into this race here. Didn't get a great start. Gonna have to work my way through the pack a bit. So there's John right in front of me. John and I ride together on the north side quite a bit, and although I know he is faster than me because he's technically a better rider, in this race he's a lot faster than me. We'll get to that in a minute. But first things first, like I said, I got to get through the pack, and although I don't like to give the Doom Goblin any more kind of social media time, that's an e-bike right there, and Greta Thunberg, kick rocks. Kind of cool to see the e-bikes though. Oh, Lance has been jonesing for e-bikes to evolve enough so he can get one and get rid of his TM. He talks about it incessantly. But Lance, I'm sorry to say, in this particular race, the e-bikes, although I think they finished the race, they finished behind me, so left Greta back there and soon going to take Guibo out up here. And I'm just joking again. Guibo, Steve Guibo, was the one-time Environment Minister for Canada, a convict for being an eco-terrorist, and kind of like his hero, old Doom Goblin there. But anyway, like I was saying, cool to see the e-bikes. I do believe they make it through this entire race, so range anxiety be gone, and I'm looking forward to see the technology evolve. But for me, I'm going to stick with 2 strokes because my wife tells me that's what I'm good at. So out in front of me here on bike 555 is Corey, not the same Corey that I usually ride with, though he does show up later on and drops me like a bad habit as he goes by me and goes on to place a couple positions ahead of me. Anyway, I gotta get in front of bike 555 and I'm gonna do that in just a second. And while the anticipation builds for me to actually make a pass, both for you and for me, because this is exciting, I don't make many passes, I'm going to say that this bike's working really good. It's my 2019 XCW, does not have stock forks, has 6500s in it, but it is a stock shock on it, and it's been working pretty good. There, I remembered to say thank you, and Corey's the perfect gentleman racer, gives me the pass so I don't have to work too hard for it, but he was setting a pretty damn good pace there, and now I gotta open up the taps a little bit. That's not gonna look startlingly different from what I was doing, but it's gonna be slightly faster.
Bad start. That cost me.
Yes, I did get a pretty poor start, and the only way it can really cost me is in my attitude. So I parked that. It's a poor man that blames his tools, so you run with what you've got, and in this case I've got my XCW, which I'm a little less comfortable on because I'm normally riding my XC, but like I said, can't blame the tool. Of the 2 of us, I'm the slow one. The bike's plenty fast, so I just gotta make up some time here. On a happy note though, because I'm sort of middle of the pack, I've got lots of open space to run in. I don't have anyone to do battle with. It's just going to be me for a few seconds here, or a few minutes, and then I'm going to catch up to a couple more riders. And one of them is on a KLR 650 that beat me off the line pretty hard. So yeah, KTM, ready to race. Woo.
Well, he's back in. Nothing looked at that one.
What I was saying there is the back suspension feels a bit bouncy. It's kicking a little bit. And the night before, I had dialed in the suspension based on best guess after getting a day of riding on the bike to sort of get a baseline. And I just missed by maybe 1 or 2 clicks in terms of slowing down the rebound on the back end, so adding a bit more dampening. Other than that, bike's working great, only spits me off once, and that was probably more my fault than the bike. In fact, it was entirely my fault. Listen to that big pig in front of me, that's awesome. I love seeing these bikes hustling in the woods and the guys that ride them. Yeah, it's just wicked. I just like it. Though in that particular moment, it hit me that I had been beaten off the line and badly by this older KLR. Again, goes down to the skill of the rider, and in that moment, in that particular scenario, I got spanked. With my lower lip quivering and tears brimming on the edges of my eyes, with that knowledge now firmly seated on me that I had spent so much money on my KTMs that were only as good as the rider, so maybe I should invest more money in myself. Well, the adage that it's 70% rider and 30% bike is once again proven out. A fast guy on a slow bike is still going to be faster than me on a fast bike.
Not a really bad start. Oh well. Front end's a little stiff.
Talking about a bad start or stiff suspension's not me making excuses, it's just verbalizing some thoughts that are going on in my head so they don't weigh me down as I carry on my race. So, bad start, yep, great, now park it and move on. And that's what I'm doing. Stiff suspension, noted, just manage the bike accordingly. You need to put a little more weight on the front, or you need to take a little bit more of abuse to the body, then suck it up, princess, and carry on. In this race, there's certainly lots to target fixate. There's that stump on my left, and just prior to that was one on the right, and you think about catching a foot peg on it. Don't do that. Look where you want to go, and you will certainly go there. If you look where you don't want to go, you're certainly going to go there too, and you're not going to like the results. Hey, there's Christine. She's riding an intermediate A, putting in the 2-hour saddle time because it helps build her endurance. And frankly, it's a good spot for her to be because she's pretty damn competitive. And there goes John. John and I ride together on the north side, and as I was saying, sometimes we're a bit more closely matched. Not now, man. Holy crap. He goes blistering by me and he holds this pace right on through, I think, because he takes a 4th place finish.
Arms.
That's just me verbalizing a thing that I want to take a mental note of. My arms are starting to get pumped out and I just need to do something about it. And that might be slowing down, but generally speaking, it's fixing my body position. And one of the issues that I have in particular is I sit far too much, especially when you're in this kind of terrain. So it's kind of ruddy. You can see the braking bumps. It's got lots of roots. And standing up is going to make this go so much easier and you're going to go faster. And that doesn't mean you stand up straight like you're the king of the world on the front of the Titanic. It means that you get your chest over the bar pad, get your head up, and get your elbows up, and get your ass up. And at the very least, someone will take note of your ass, and maybe you'll get a date at the end of it. This is another area I need to work on. Tight trees. I don't have good spatial awareness on this bike because I don't ride it as much as I ride the XC, and the XC has flags on it, not wraparounds, so it's probably almost a full inch thinner. I've talked about cutting these bars down numerous times. Maybe when I get myself planted in Nova Scotia, I'll do just that. I'll trim this bike down a little bit and see if that helps. The other thing you can do is you can run into trees, and eventually you'll get tired of doing that and you'll get better at not hitting them, and therefore work on spatial awareness through negative reinforcement. Curse under my breath there is me acknowledging that once I pick a line, it tends to be the line that I continue to pick for subsequent laps, and I thought maybe that wasn't the best line. Probably was actually the better line. If you cut close to the inside, you had to drift wide anyway over roots, so it was probably the smoother line, and you can get your tire up against the base of the tree as you go over the root so you can't slip out. And I guess maybe my point there is always be looking for the race line. The race line might not be the line that's most beaten in. There may be a spot where you're staying on course, you're not breaking through the tape or cutting the course short to gain an advantage, but there might be a spot that people haven't gone just because no one else has. If you can see that, and maybe it's a straighter line that causes you less energy because you can just go straight through it, or less rough terrain, then do that. That's fair.
Do well at Penobsquis. That's okay.
It is okay because I race for fun, and my many sponsors, which include such names as well, there's me and my wife. That's about it. my sponsors don't get too upset if I don't do well. You got to use those revs. Get the bike revving up when you can, get it on the pipe. Yeah, it gets the heart pumping a little bit. That'll get you moving a bit more. Alright, it seems like I need a lot more revs because it didn't seem to have the effect that I thought it would. The camera kind of hides the whoops that are here, but they're pretty big rollers and the bike just doesn't love them, so it's hard to go fast, though you're probably thinking, why is he going so slow on the straightaway? That's why.
Yeah, leave it. Hold a big camera.
Somewhere I think the third lap, maybe the fourth, I don't remember. And here or maybe the next little crossing, my front end catches a root and I go down. And Hugo gets by me and Corey. I get by Hugo again quickly, but I lose Corey completely. He just drops me like a bad habit and takes off. There we go, get on the pipe and tickle the undercarriage. Works for boys and girls the same. Back into the woods we go, feeling a little bit more motivated. Almost at the end of this lap, and that's all I'm going to show you is the first lap. Like I said, I did finish 9th overall, which, well, not overall, I guess for my class, which is pretty respectable given the quick movers that are in this group. There's an example right here about finding the fast line or the race line. Right to my right, see that? That's the line. This one here is not terrible, it just kind of makes you have to turn a little sharper to the left as opposed to straightening out the corners, which is always faster. Oh, hey JM. I don't know why JM's not bringing out his pointer stick. Gave him a custom one last year. Thought he would be bringing it out and at least whacking people that don't get out of the way of faster riders, because he did shout at me and I shouted back because I had nowhere to go because it was on that line and there's nothing but a ravine to my left. I did give that rider a pass in here really quick and that was probably my last lap. That brings us just about to the end of this lap and the end of the video. I got a couple tire obstacles to get over, but the next couple laps go faster and the fourth lap goes slower. I think I got a little lazy, and there's another lesson to take aboard. It's not over till it's over. I gave up a position in that lap that I shouldn't have, and had I held my pace, I would have placed at least one position further up the ladder, maybe even two. And it's not that position matters terribly, but you want to leave it all out there in the field of battle, so to speak, and you want to give the guys that you're riding with and kind of riding against a fair shake out there. You want to make them work for it just as you want them to make you work for it. The founder of Honda said racing improves the breed, and I think that's the underlying message. Competition sharpens you and makes you better. Well, that wraps up, at least for this video, NBDRA's Round 2 Hare Scramble series, and pretty much wraps up my participation in the series overall. I don't think I'll make it back this year for any more races, as I am moving in about 2 weeks' time, but maybe next year I'll make it up for at least 1 or 2 races.